After surviving open heart surgery at age 61, Dr. Akil Taher, MD, didn't just recover. He ran marathons, he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and he became a septuagenarian athlete. He went from couch-bound to conquering chronic illness with the power of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. We're here on the Marketer of the Day podcast with Robert Plank, brought to you by dfypodcast.com, your shortcut to podcast growth without the back end stress. But today we're focusing on the most important thing, right? Our body. We only have one of it. People neglect it. They take shortcuts, they make compromises, and then it just leads to all these bad things, right? These emotional impacts. And ultimately, it seems like a life lived at an old age saying, I wish I'd taken care of my body years ago, decades ago, but luckily it's never too late. And we're here to get educated about maybe some changes we could possibly make. So Dr. Akil, glad to see you, glad to be speaking with you.
Lovely being here. Thank you for that kind introduction. Rather generous. Thank you very much. And I'm very glad to be here with you.
And I'm glad to have you here. You have this excellent book called Open Heart, The Transformational Journey of a Doctor Who, after bypass surgery at 61, ran marathons and climbed mountains. So you are living the life that we hope to live, right? Where age isn't an excuse, isn't a factor. But you tell me, what are you all about, and what did I miss filling in the gaps there in that introduction for you?
No, see, the point is that I want people to read my book more so for learning from my mistakes rather than all the things that I've done. But of course, to learn from my mistakes and how I transformed my life after my open heart bypass surgery. So to just let you know in short, till the age of 61, I'm 77 now, till the age of 61, I created my own unhealthy lifestyle. I came to this country rather late, in my 40s, and had a lot of catching up to do. So I worked hard, long hours, paid very little attention to my family, my friends, my health. And then I was eating unhealthy, indiscriminately, anything that I could lay my hands on, without worrying what effect it would have on my body. So at one time, I was even called a seafood eater, SEE, because I ate everything at sight. And then, if I was not working hard or eating what was in front of me, I was a total, Robert, you will not believe it, I was a total couch potato. I did not do any exercise. Well, I stand corrected. I did exercise my hand muscles holding the remote to change the TV channels when I was lying on the couch, or when I was in the park and used my eye muscles to see the runners run by. That's the only depth of exercise I did. So, with all this, I have a very challenging family history. Both my brother died at the age of 52 of a stroke. Both my mother and sister died at the age of 61, succumbed to heart disease. And I am a museum of heart disease, as I call, because I've had stents put in, I've had bypass surgeries done, I have had lately, I've got what is not lately, but before, I am also Wolff Parkinson White syndrome. Sounds like a horror movie, but it means I've got a conduction defect where my heart can beat very fast. And then last year, 77, I'm 76, they found out I had the Lp(a), which is an independent risk factor for atherosclerosis or heart attacks.
Wow.
So with that, I had a lot of stress. A stress everybody has in life, but I couldn't handle it. So I was not shocked. I was not surprised when heart disease came knocking. And they asked me that you'll need stents. They put stents, Robert, and then people thought around me, my family and all that I would change my lifestyle. I didn't. I thought medical science would get me through. And I felt I was a doctor. I was supposed to treat patients, not become one. So that led me into a kind of a stage where I felt dejected, lonely, isolated, and depressed. So at one stage, I almost wanted to end it all. Those 5 years after my stents were the most horrible 5 years I've ever had in my life. I continued my own erratic lifestyle. So it was no surprise that after the 5 years, my stents had failed and I was taken into surgery for a bypass surgery. This is where my transformation happens. And this is something that people should realize, that adversity can be your worst friend or your best, it can be worst enemy, or your best friend. It was my worst enemy, adversity, till the stents. After that, it became my worst enemy. But after my bypass surgery, it became my best friend. I transformed myself. I told the nurses I would do a half marathon in a year's time if all went well. They humored me. They thought probably it was anesthesia infusion talking. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But my recovery was remarkable. I was on the treadmill on the very third day. I didn't take any pain medications. And I started running. See, this was a couch potato. So from being there and to do marathons was not easy. People thought I was having a midlife crisis. They were right. But instead of buying a red Corvette sports car, I went and bought running shoes because they're far cheaper and they're better for your heart. So I started running, taking small steps. And I ran, and within 7 months, I did my first half marathon in Nashville. But it was 4 hours, grueling hours, Robert. But I felt like I was on top of Mount Everest. And I felt so good that I now started changing my lifestyle. I started eating better. I started sort of a spirituality, breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, and it helped me. So there was no stopping now. So then I went on to Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Kailash. I climbed those, and I get bored doing one thing. So I went for triathlon, did 2 or 3 triathlons. Then I did 4 marathons. Then I did 6 half marathons, all in a span of 16 years. And then I did 100-mile bike ride twice. So the point I'm making is that it was a lot of fun and a lot of stories, Robert. It is shared in my book. That there were instances when I was doing the Boston Marathon and it was so hot, and I just asked the stranger, "Can I have your hat?" And he turned around and he says, "But this is a custom hat," and his uh, spouse or girlfriend or his better half absolutely, Elbon, give the gentleman your hat, and he gave it to me, and I said, "I'll give you $20 for it." His spouse said, "No, we don't need any money. Just go and finish the race." I tried very hard to find this person after that. I couldn't find him. I wanted to return his hat. I still have the hat with me. And there were instances when I am very cold natured. So when I did a triathlon, the cold waters absolutely made me worried what to do. So I, like a great guy, went and bought a full body wetsuit online. But also, like all men do, they think they know everything. And I thought I knew all this. So I went upstairs in my bedroom and I put the wetsuit. But it is clearly written that you got to use your body glide on your wrist, on your hands, on your legs, on neck, so that you can take it. So I did not use it. So I was struggling to put it on. I finally put it on. But when it came time to put it off, I couldn't.
Oh no.
I struggled. Man, I struggled, Robert. I struggled. I put it up to my waist. Now it wouldn't go down further. So I swallowed my pride and I asked my wife, to come and help me. She takes one look at me and starts laughing. Then she said, sit down on the floor. And she took the two leggings and tries to take the suit off me. But all she did was drag me like a rag doll, all around.
Sure.
Then she went out in the kitchen and got a pair of scissors. Now I got scared. She cut 5 inches of my leggings, both sides. She got a better grip, and then she pulled it off. Oh, we had a terrible laugh. I mean, terrific laugh after that, But these were the important moments in that. So I did that. But what happened, Robert, was that even though because when they put the stents in, at that time, I had a cardiac arrest. My heart stopped. And they had to shock me to get my heart beating again. That was my first encounter with death. Then I had severe diverticulitis, perforated twice. The second time, my surgeon, my friend, turns around and tells me, if I don't take off your colon, you may not survive. So when I became a better person, transformed, I still was getting, not that often, but diverticulitis attacks, bronchitis, sinus infections. And I was wondering why. I'm doing everything right. What's going on? So I started researching. I started reading medical journals. I talked to my colleagues, Neil Bernard, all this T. Collins. And the more I read, the more I realized that there's something here. So I started researching on things that could really change me without just going into surgeries and medicines. And that is when I came upon the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And one of them, several of them are very important, but the 3 most important are your nutrition, that is your diet, then exercise and sleep. And the 4th one is stress. 5th one is avoiding abusive substances, and 6th one is social support. Just 2 days back, I saw on TV that America now people are 30% more lonely than they were in 2020.
Whoa, that's drastic.
That is drastic. That we are becoming a lonely this thing, and I talk to my patients, and that is what they say. So this is in a nutshell my story. But when I turned and I said, okay, I got to do something. So that's where I found the whole food plant-based diet. And when I changed to a whole food plant-based diet, I started exercising at least 35, 40 minutes a day of moderate intensity exercises with 2 days of muscle strengthening. And then I started sleeping 7 to 9 hours. Prior to 61, I was sleeping 4 hours a day.
Jeez.
So it improved after that because I started feeling better. And once you feel better, you start doing things and you feel even much more better. So I started doing the exercises, sleeping. I started handling stress better. So my wife, I had a type A personality. It was either my way or the highway.
Sure.
And when my wife noticed this, then my type A personality had mellowed down. I started listening. I was a reasonably good doctor. I'm not going to say I was a top or the worst, but I was a reasonably good doctor. My patients loved me. But I started listening more. And they taught me more than sometimes I feel I taught them.
Oh,
Because from them you can learn. Every time I talk, I reinforce myself. I'm talking to you, Robert, now. I'm reinforcing that I got to keep doing things that I'm doing. Because right now, the diverticulitis, which had ruptured and put me in the hospital for 14, 15 days at a time, is at the back burner. I am living my life with passion, purpose, and positivity at the age of 77. I
wow.
don't care if my lifespan is less because, something may happen and die. But my health span quality of my life is really great. And that's what I want to tell people, that
Yes.
you got to change. Age is not a limiting factor in changing one's lifestyle. A lot of people have done it after my age at 80 and 90. Some of them have done it younger. The younger you change your lifestyle, the better you're going to be.
Hmm. I like it. So you figured out a lot of what we need to be thinking about and doing, and I love the pillars. And when you mentioned about the plant based diet and lifestyle, like it sounds extreme, and that's whenever I hear about something like extreme changes I want to make, like I find myself like already making excuses and talking myself out of it. But what I like about what you've given us so far, it's all very simple, it's all very doable. It's like you start with these small steps, you see the results, you make better decisions, and it leads to you listening better, and it leads you being more integrated and cohesive and like just sturdy about what you have to say and what you believe. But as far as this plant-based diet, can you explain it to us? And how, if we were to pursue this, how do we make it stick?
First of all, Robert, you are absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Let us not have perfection being the enemy of good. That means I am not asking people to be a strict whole food plant-based diet with no oil, salt, or sugar. I am trying to tell people, go slow. Be a flexitarian.
Mm.
Try to give up certain things. For example, dairy. Unless you got your cow and you got your grass to feed and it's in your backyard, that milk that you are getting is totally, absolutely not helping you in any way but harming you. Why? Because if you need the factory and the dairy milk that we are talking about, which are on the shelves of the supermarket, what does it contain? See, these cows have to be pregnant. More pregnant they are, the more milk they will give. So they have been injected with estrogens constantly. So when you are injected with estrogen, you are getting that estrogen in your milk. And it is proven that prostate cancer is one of the cause is estrogen in the milk that you drink. So that is number one. Number two, when those huge metal things are used to extract the milk from the udders, they cause lacerations, pus cells into the milk. And then you push antibiotics to help with this infection. There are more antibiotics used on animals than human beings. What are you doing? You're getting those antibiotics. You feed. There is a protein in the milk. It's called casein, where you try to double the size of a calf in 90 days. You don't need it for a child. There are a lot of other these things. Once you get your breast milk, that is fantastic. 2 years, even longer. But once you we are the only people who, after being weaned off, we drink milk. And not only that, we are smarter. We don't drink our human milk. We go to other species and drink their milk.
Right.
So that's number one. Go slow. Give up one thing at a time. See if it helps you. If you want to use your meat and chicken or whatever, go low, 4 ounces. You don't need things that fall off your plate, like in Australia and America. These are the only two countries I have been to where the things fall off your plate. They're
Mm.
huge.
Right.
Smaller quantities. Increase your fruits and vegetables. So that way, half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. A quarter of your plate should be plant proteins or other proteins, animal proteins, but small quantity. And then the others should be whole grains, legumes, beans, lentils. We don't do that. That is closer to a Mediterranean diet too. So I'm asking people to start changing, because we do not know why there are so many people who are now getting in that. Just Saturday, Sunday, I was working at my clinic in Alabama, in Gadsden, Alabama. I'm seeing people, 39 years old, cancer of the breast. 40 years old, cancer of the prostate. I'm not seeing one or two, I'm seeing so many of them. To us now as Americans, cancer is becoming like bronchitis and pneumonia. Oh,
Right.
doc, I got cancer.
You expect to get it. Yeah.
You get it. Because it does not show earlier in life. But that's the time you got to be careful,
Mm,
because it shows later on in life when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60. But now we are seeing even less and less, even 30-year-olds are getting it.
mm,
So change your lifestyle. And then a lot of people don't realize this, but you have exercise is the main thing. But any activity is better than no activity. But do some purposeful activity, whereby you do about 30 minutes, as I said before, of moderate intensity exercises that, that increases your blood flow. It helps to dilate your blood arteries, coronary arteries. It helps to protect your arterial wall. It lowers your blood pressure. It also, not only that, but have you seen athletes? They will always have their pulse in the 60s.
okay.
Normal people have in the 70s, because when you are there, your heart works better, pumping less. I mean, not so many times it is pumping, but it is doing great work. And then the classic way to find out if you're fit or not is do a workout. Get your heartbeat 70% of your normal, 70% of your maximum heart rate. Get that level so you know our heart is beating. Now, when you stopped exercising, see how soon it takes or how long it takes for the heart beats to come back to normal. If it takes a long time, you're not fit. So that is important. And then sleep. Everybody thinks that sleep is when a person is not awake. Wrong. Sleep is something which the brain is far active, and the brain is in a active state of mind. So during that activity, you have what is called the deep sleep and the dream sleep. Both are very important. See, that is why dream sleep comes a little later on in night. That's why you get up with a dream. But both of them are very important. If you are constantly getting less than 6 hours of sleep a day, your chances of getting heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, your high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all increases, including your other problems like your anxiety, your depression, and even suicides. So
Whoa.
sleep is extremely, extremely important. And then you have the other factor, how to handle stress. What is stress? Is when you have in a situation that you don't have any answers, you cannot handle. And what are the four most common causes of stress? Think about it. It's when you're debt in a lot of money that you owe people. Debt, the four D's: debt, divorce, that can break you, disease, and death.
Mm,
So if you look at it in the four D's, somehow you will fit in somewhere.
yeah.
So you got to do certain things about it. What do you do? Try to, medication should be your last resort. Try to do meditation, exercise, spirituality, uh, religion, whatever helps you. But calm your mind. Your clarity of thought will increase.
Mm,
I mean, I am not the perfect person, because I have abused my body a lot. And so I don't know whether my longevity will be long or not. That I'm not concerned. But I made a change, and I made a change for the better. And I don't want people to undergo what I've undergone.
right. So now you're teaching us what you've learned, and this is a great message. And I love kind of getting into your logic, your thought process. Right? There's like, well, there's what's the problem, put a label on it, and then like, get the diagnosis, so to speak, and figure out the guidelines. And so many of what you've been saying is like, well, do you have this? What of the 4 or 5 types? Okay, well now here's some guidelines, right? Arrange your plate this way. Look to kind of slowly remove this or that from your lifestyle. Look to add this in, kind of a plan where it won't turn around instantly, but it helps just to pay attention to some of these things, right? They say like anything that you focus on grows, but the opposite's true too, right? If you don't pay attention to your teeth, you don't brush your teeth, you lose your teeth. And same with the relationship, health, etc. So this is a great message. And we definitely want to send people to your website, which is Akil Taher, which is AKILTAHER.com. And we really, really want you to check out this book, which is Open Heart, the transformational journey of a doctor who, after bypass surgery at 61, ran marathons and climbed mountains. So, Dr. Akil, in these last couple of minutes of our conversation, I want to make sure that we get to what's important to you, but I don't necessarily know the ideal question to ask you. So, what is the missing question here? What should I be asking you? I just don't know to ask you.
I think the most important thing is I believe very strongly that, you know, that adventure can hurt you.
Mm.
Monotony will kill you. Now, adventure here is a metaphor. It cannot, I'm not talking people to climb mountains and run marathons, but anything new. Learn how to play chess, learn how to garden, learn cooking, mahjong, something that you are not doing every day, because then it becomes monotonous.
Mm.
So if you do that, you're always being challenged. And that challenge will always be an aspiration for you to achieve more. And your health, your mind will be always there. Because a lot of people either are physically active, the mind goes. A lot of people are mind active, but the physicality goes. We want both. And that gives you the mental strength. And mental and physical strength equates to what? Emotional strength.
Very nice. So
So
it's time to challenge ourselves, escape that comfort zone.
get out of your comfort zone. Get
Yeah.
out of your comfort zone. That is my message to everybody. Get out of your comfort zone.
Wonderful. And do something new. And it's one thing to listen to a podcast, we get a little bit of a tease or a taste, but in order to get a more like comprehensive step-by-step something that sticks, we need to check out this book, Open Heart, the transformational journey of a doctor who, after bypass surgery at 61, ran marathons and climbed mountains, by Dr. Akil Taher. And I think, did I cut you off there? Did you had something else to say?
No, no, no. I'm perfectly okay. Thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate this. I love talking to you, and I loved our conversation.
And I did as well. So that book is called Open Heart, and the website is akiltaher.com. And as we're going there, it's time for one last thing, Dr. Akil. It's the scary part of the podcast where I try to stump you. I try to put you on the spot by asking about a fun or interesting quote or lesson that has served you. So what comes to mind as far as a fun quote or lesson?
A fun quote is that a lesson that I learned, rather, is that if you are ever going to go on a mountain or climbing this thing, be careful and go slow, slow. They call it poly, because if you don't, you're going to be a problem. And go and climb these mountains when you're younger, because if you get older, you get an enlarged prostate. If you get an enlarged prostate, when I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, there were you have to drink 5 liters of fluid. And so you pee like a horse.
Hmm.
And when you got enlarged prostate, you have to get up in the night. So I was 66 when I climbed. So I carried a pee bottle. I peed in the pee bottle, but my pee bottle got full.
Oh, no.
Now I had to get out in the cold. My God, it was cold. And to get out in that cold, I didn't know what to do. And especially to use a pee bottle when it is so cold, it is like, kneeling down and trying to pee. And there's another person next to me who's a younger person. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm praying to God." Something happens and the pee comes out, That was the situation.
Yeah.
So these are the fun things that ever happen. And then another fun thing that I told you about is my story about my in the cold, my wetsuit. So
Right.
these are little fun things, and I do enjoy a lot with my grandson. So
Nice. So you've had many adventures and many more adventures ahead for you and for the rest of us. So check out akiltaher.com. That's AKILTAHER.com. You go there, and there's even a book that you can get called Cook With Me of easy, quick, and simple meals. So the information is out there, right? We live in this internet age. It's just up to us to go and pursue these actions and experiment and make sure that these things we do that work for us become habits and they repeat it. And that way we don't live a life of regret or feeling bad. We're feeling great. And we pursue these 6 pillars, right? We have good sleep and we have good relationships with others and we stay off the substances and we live the best life that we can within our capabilities. So akiltaher.com, and the book is called Open Heart. Dr. Akil, it's been wonderful speaking with you and thank you for being here.
thank you so much. I do appreciate it.